Greetings, everyone. Let's see. Just a quick little update. I have been quite busy on everything. I'm getting a little bit low on supplies on some other stuff, so things are kind of getting to a point where I'm going to be juggling supplies for the VSS and prints and things like that. But I wanted to let everyone know that the VSS project is still going on. It's taking a bit of time. Um, it's a big project, and that's where the time really goes into on that. I've been bogged down with mostly in doing the engine room, but as the engine room begins to close up, as it gets to closer to completion, I'm beginning to shift attention to other parts of the VSS. So what you see behind me over here is half of the VSS. So you can imagine it's going to be twice as long. And when it gets to that point, I'm not going to fit it in this room. It will actually be longer than this room. So I'll have to move it elsewhere. So I'm going to change my approach and build it section by section. So most likely when I take it to Joe Fest, most likely it'll just be this section, and we'll see how far I can get with it. So who knows? Maybe each section was going to take months instead of doing the whole thing at once. But on the downslope of it, once I do finish the engine room, then I move on to the other rooms, and those are more traditional rooms. They are, they're already built because of the MDF structure. So what I will be doing is doing the floor, doing the walls, the greebles on the walls, and just putting some sort of structure for the ceiling, so can hold the lights and stuff like that. And so basically, doing the cosmetics for it, the greebles, things where props and stuff can attach to. But the thing is that once you do one room, all the other structures would, all the other rooms are going to use the same structures anyway. So it'll be easier and quicker. And so what I have going on behind me is the other parts. Let me show you real fast. Let's see, can I do this? Okay. What I'm doing here, I wonder if I could do it like this. I want the second cam to be bigger. How do I make the second cam bigger? Well, okay, anyway, what I'm doing here is that I'm printing on the port side and the starboard side. Yeah. So print the port side and the starboard side. This little structure that you see here. So this is a unique part that's only going to be at the ends and at both ends, the aft and I guess the bow or whatever it's called. But this is going to become the area where launch tubes are going to be. So I'll be able to attach launch tubes to these rails. There's going to be more rails all along the entire sides, port and starboard. And originally, the idea was that these rails were going to be glued to the MDF wood. But after considering when I take this to Joe Fest, I'm going to have to be able to easily build it. And the other thing too is the original idea was that items were going to slide onto the rails, but after working with the rails for the engine room, I realized it's not going to be that easy to slide things on. So I'm making these hooks. I'll have more hooks on there. So the idea is if I want to have access to inside the rooms, I can simply just remove the launch tubes by just lifting them off the hook and putting them back on, things like that. And so yeah, so we'll have some launch tubes, and like on this deck, the deck below this would have corridors connected to the side. But I'm liking the way the launch tubes are actually looking. So I might just duplicate the launch tube style on this deck and have it below as well. And so that way, it might make things easier, faster to just greeblize the launch tubes and then greeblize them also for the corridor, but make the corridor so people can walk through and stuff like that. Props, computers, gun stations, or whatever. So if I stretch the camera here, I don't have a whole lot going on the inside of this area yet. You've seen me post pictures of this particular room in the past. I use this particular room for laboratory stuff, and so I'm thinking of changing the floor for it. I got some ABS 2mm thick floor, and I'm probably going to replace it with styrene, mostly because the styrene is cheaper. So I'm going to have to use more of it. So I was thinking of just getting some cheaper styrene and using that instead. The effect of the styrene is going to look like what I did with the engine room. So that shiny floor there, that's styrene. And get large sheets for under $1 or about $1 really. So anyways, other parts that I'm working on, move the cam over here, is I am currently working on this section. This wall is pushed back, but it'll be flushed right about here to this beam. Well, you can't see the beam, can you? So these beams, this beam right here, this wall door is going to be connected right to it. So I'm working on this part, and I need to brace it up some. Have another wall in front, but to be able to access and put a person, here's a figure for reference of how tight it's going to be. So it's going to have greebles on this side, greebles on this side, piping, things like that. It's going to be a tight fit. So what I intend to do is make a little hinge piece, and then just have a wall here that I can just lower down, be able to access and take photos, and just close back up. And if that works well, then I'll add hinges to cover up the gaps between the thrusters, like you see here. All this area here is going to have to get closed up. And that also, in this view, I'm working on greeble for the sides, and I had a little bit of human error on my part where um, I made something a little bit too thick. The middle piece on the floor, so these things don't fit the way they're supposed to fit. So I have to kind of like raise them up some by putting another piece of ABS plastic. And so what's going on is that the corners down here is impacting the floor just barely, but just enough that it prevents this entire structure from connecting. Connects in the back or connects in the front, but not in the middle. So little things. Working on. Let me raise up the camera some. Working on the beams, getting ready for the ceiling over the engine room. So the idea with that ceiling, so this part is going to connect to the rails right here. So it'll slide into those rails on either side. And so this part, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to finish it, but it may be a removable piece that I can just remove the entire ceiling here. But definitely the inside, all of this is going to be a removable part, and probably here too, just removable. So that way, you can easily access content inside. Now, the last thing that I got going for the two last things I got going for this engine room is one, I got to work on greebles for the entire wall, and a little bit on the inside wall that's going to be here. So I got some parts I'm working on at the moment. Laser cutting a wall section. It has its own beams. I'm just not satisfied with how the beams look at the moment, so I may make them more sci-fi looking. But this will be a removable wall, and it will have greebles on it, and beams and things on both sides. And then, so once that is done, then basically just do the top, and the top shouldn't be difficult at all. It really shouldn't be difficult at all. It shouldn't be much of a challenge. It's a big rectangle, and all I gotta do is just print some beams and just glue it on top of the rectangle, because it's not going to be connected to the actual structure. It'll be removable, so it's not like it's so it shouldn't present me a big challenge. Then I start working with the rest of the VSS. So I am very interested in working on these launch tubes, because that should be some nice eye candy. So these things take about 5 hours to print, starboard and port. And I need about 2 more sets. So port, starboard, I need 2 more of these. So 10 hours more of printing. And that should be enough for the entire length of half the size side here. I'll have to do all that again when I eventually do the next half of this deck. Okay, so let's see. Let's move the cam back to where to show me. Yeah. So that's where it is right now. trying to think what else. Uh, there's also the flight deck that's going to be on top of it. I am working on that. It's just that I got a bunch of stuff sitting on top of where the flight deck would be. So, you know, uh, space is at a premium. So when I make room, it becomes a little table. So anyway, so the other challenge also is that I have to start planning the way the RGB lights are going to be. So I have these RGB lights. This one I got to look into it, but this might be RGB. If not, this one's UV. But I have several of these ready to go. Start, um, putting together some sort of lighting um, pattern. And so what I'm thinking of doing from the top view is just making a large U shape doing the outside and coming around doing the inside of just these LED strips. And yeah, so that's where my thoughts are at the moment. So it's coming together. Now with other news, other things with the VSS, I don't want to talk about some other ideas so much yet, but I am impressed with how the engine room is coming along. And so that has given me some additional ideas. And I'm going to see what I can do to flesh out those ideas and let everyone know how on future projects. But what I do find interesting is that all that plastic and wood from like the floors and wood and ABS sheets for the floors, so they're double thick, and the wood on the thrusters, things like that. Even though it's got a lot of non-plastic stuff, it's actually pretty light. And I was amazed. You can pick up the entire thing with hardly any issue about weight at all. So the MDF wood is much heavier. So I'm very impressed with how the 3D printing and the laser cutting parts are developing. They're strong and they're very light. So that may open up other interesting structures to go, whether it's for the VSS or other things. I don't know yet, but I do want to make a lot of these things available so people can just order on the Dire Warrior store. It's just that as 3D printing goes, a lot of the stuff takes a lot of time. I talk about hours. 5 hours here, 7 hours there, and so you can imagine, if 20 people order, a beam that's 7 hours long, and they want 3 beams or 4 beams, or however, that could be a nightmare. So I'm looking into other solutions, because I do know if you have a VSS and you want to make it more interesting on the inside, just adding eye candy. Bulkheads and things are the way to go, in my opinion. You can really attach things to it. You can attach monitors to it, fire extinguishers to it, computers and other equipment, and So bulkheads would be fun to just simply just dress up something, and so I want to see about making that available. So if you're interested in doing things like that with your VSS, I'm trying to work out some manufacturing ways to make that into a reality. So yeah, so hmm, let's see. Is any comments? Oh, I see there's a comment here. Hey, Alexis Gonzalez. Thanks. Let me see. Can I? Yeah, show. Yeah. Um. Yeah, it becomes like a shelf or a table or something like that. What I would like to do is find some sort of utility cart, or some sort of table that's not going to cost a lot over at like maybe IKEA or something at Home Depot or something, to put the VSS on, something with a cabinet. So extra parts, diorama parts can be simply stored away underneath. So that way, maximize the use of space, because the VSS is going to require a table, something strong. So it's like, okay, it'd be nice to have something under that table besides boxes, maybe a cabinet. Another comment. I like it when there's comments. Any areas you're hoping to create that you haven't started yet? Yes, lots. The hard thing about projects like this is that you don't want to say something like, "Oh, I'm going to do this," and then as the project goes along, you change your ideas and you start thinking, "Okay, it was a mistake saying that you were going to do this, where you're no longer going to do that." So, so that's the hardest thing, is to kind of hold back and spilling the beans, and then possibility of backtracking that. But yeah, I do have lots of ideas for the VSS and other things like the VSS. Um, one thing too, I want to see how the VSS will look with like the Joy Toy diorama parts. How the diorama things fitting on the inside as if they were bulkheads and things would work, or as a spaceship, as a space carrier, a dry dock kind of thing. Maybe I can do some sort of shelf structure to put the VSS on, and then do little diorama structures behind it, making it look like a dry dock. So it little by little gets closer and closer to Empire Toy Works with their Rock Gut station. Let's see. Also wondering what your crew figure's like. Oh, I haven't decided yet. The only one that I have kind of done. This is a prototype. I have a bridge crew also. I can probably show that. I have it with my Marauders things. So here is using the Chrono Ops. This is the female one, obviously. I was just thinking, maybe if I can put something with, maybe I could just build up something. I'm not satisfied with the helmet, but maybe the silver Chrono Ops. Maybe if I have a bunch of these manning stations, might be something. I have also another bit of idea, but it will have to be after a Kickstarter. But I, I do have. Well, let me stay on one train of thought at the moment. Let me get the bridge crew. Can you see me? I got. I guess to do this. So here is my figure collection. And where do I have the Marauder ones? Maybe they're with the bridge. Okay, let's check. I got things I gotta tiptoe over. Let's see. Well, I got the bridge over here, but I don't have any figures in it. Huh. Where did my figures go? That's very strange. Because it's like 6 Marauder figures in uniform colors. Oh, here they are. They're right in front of me. Get this one, get this one. Okay. That's a bit embarrassing. So I moved them around, and I forgot where I moved them to. Okay, so here's a female one, gray and red. So this is another color possibility. But I kind of wanted to make the bridge crew slightly different than the rest of the crew. Here's I guess you could say the first officer. I was thinking, maybe do something with one armor thing rather than 2. And I tried with like an officer's hat, but it didn't really look good. So I'm not sure what to do for the hat or the helmet. So gray and red so far is the theme for the bridge crew. So with that, one thing I do want to mention is that Die Warriors is working on some action figures, and so everyone knows we're working on some Alien action figures. So, but of course, I have other things in mind that I haven't mentioned about. So we'll see how things go with the VSS and aliens and space, sci-fi look. I only have 3 engine crew players. Yeah, I'm thinking of putting consoles, whether it's the consoles I have now or new consoles, new shapes that will fit the engine room area a bit better. And I'm kind of thinking like Star Trek at the moment. So I'm thinking like if I can put some consoles maybe here, some sort of shape, kind of semi-U shape, something like kind of angles out like an L, and maybe coming back. Maybe I can maximize console stations. I'm also, so here, something here, something here. Probably nothing here because I'm thinking maybe some sort of storage bin kind of structure or something like that here. The other thing too is, you see how, can I do this? You see how that warp core has that grid, that grate? I was thinking, if it's not going to take up too much space, I can do some grates like this and kind of put them on this, kind of raise them off a little bit off the deck plate and have some consoles there. But the thing is that I wonder if it's going to have enough room for figures to realistically walk around, not bump into or be too narrow of a space. But that would be interesting, if you could have the consoles raised off the deck plate a little bit, because there's a lot of empty space. The ceilings are high, so I'm trying to think of ways to kind of you know deal with the excess volume of things, besides props, besides lighting, besides piping and other things like that. You know, let me see. Yeah. I think, especially in my case, I mean, I have production stuff going on. I got prototype stuff going on, and I got so the production stuff, the orders and stuff going out, and then of course these side projects, and everything is spilling out from this room. So I got figures here. I got figures in uh, another room, more organized, because my wife helps keeps it organized like that. Like uh, try to keep things clean and organized. But then the parts, like a lot of the prototype stuff, do spill out to other rooms, especially when I have to do the boxing, and and everything we do. I personally make sure that everything fits the way it's supposed to fit. So I do the quality control, and so sometimes I sit in front of the TV and I just put things together, and then put them into a bag, and then put them into a box. So sometimes those bags get left out of place, boxes get left out of place, and things accumulate. And because it's all important, you can't just grab them all and move them around, because then you lose where you put things. So yeah, Bridge Crew is all red and white and black Marauder figures. Red, white, and black. That should be interesting. One thing that I kind of regret they didn't do with the Rise of Cobra movie. Do you remember in the Mars underwater base, the tech people in the backgrounds, the ones that were manning the computers, the consoles, the background fodder, the red shirts? They had a gray, if I remember correctly, a gray uniform with like blue or purple highlights. Um, so parts of me is thinking, how would a gray and purple Marauder combination look? I bought some purplish gear, but I think I need to do some more, and to really try, get the male and female versions and try to see what. Yeah, they were background people. I thought the uniform would make for a good, base type of outfit, and but maybe there's something, in the future. Maybe someone um, can mass produce some figures inspired by things like that. You know, so maybe Marauders can, or don't know. But I'm going to try to see what I can do with the gray and the purple for Marauders. The Chrono Ops, looks good when it's all uniform. And I give you an example. Oh, hey, that's I'm thinking of this. Yeah. Lower decks crew. That's a good way to put it. Let me also show you what I've done with some Chrono Ops and why I kind of like the Chrono Ops. So you're gonna see me step over I got like a filing cabinet there, and that's become a table also. It's a real mess, but it's controlled chaos. Okay, let's move this out. Boss fight. Marauders. Let's get this one. Okay. So here is a little test. Maybe too much glare. Why is there so much glare in this room? I'm trying to find. Okay. Yeah, not so much glare. Okay, so here's a Chrono Ops that I've been tinkering with for a while. I 3D printed my own G.I. Joe jump inspired by the jump jetpack. It's got attachments to put Marauder stuff. I don't know what happened here, so ignore that. But if you could put a backpack on there, it has the ability. It has a handle, so a figure can actually grab it and carry the jump. Parts of the figure is coming off. I got to glue it. In there. Okay. So to me, too high. To me, when I see this the Chrono Ops like this is like this looks great. Like some sort of specialist, maybe some sort of sci-fi idea, like some sort of dimensional trooper or something, like a sci-fi theme. Cobra Mars is experimenting with the mass device as a Star Trek like transporter, and in the same way how Star Trek has problems with a transporter malfunction, going to a mirror universe, going into some other location, perhaps the mass device can have a malfunction, opening up some sort of tear between the universes. And so Cobra, gets some, specialized troops to go in and investigate what's beyond this tear. So I did little things like, putting other, well, that was blurry, putting other little Marauder stuff. So this is basically all Marauders except for the jump. But I think Marauder, has a good idea with the all chrome look. But then again, maybe it'll look better if the body was chrome, and instead of having white highlights, maybe it should be black highlights, or purple or something. I don't know. And maybe Marauder Ruben can kind of play around with alternate colors combinations and see. But yeah, the Chrono Ops is pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's the thing is that it's amazing. The Marauder stuff. It's like it's not expensive at all, and so it's so tempting to buy a whole rainbow of different colors to kind of figure out what combination works. And so I start putting together okay, I'm going to have a male figure and a female figure in this color, and same for these other colors, and then of course the gear. And then you look at the final total, and it's like, oh gosh, I got to keep it within budget, But it's not criticism. It's just It's just that they have a very good product, and I like their stuff a lot, and I want to buy more, and so I become like the kid in the candy store. My eyes get big, and it's like I want, and of course you can't buy the whole store. Yes, yeah. This the stuff about oh, okay, yeah. The stuff about small parts, that's interesting because, like I said, I don't want to tip my hand about other things coming down the road. Um, the thing with Dire Warriors is that we've always wanted to focus on being the factory here in the U.S. So we look at machines, and we started with from scratch. So the easiest machine to start doing stuff with is 3D printer. Then from there we up it to include laser cut stuff, and then from there we have other machines. Some of these machines are not easy to work with, so we have an industrial level CNC milling machine in Texas. I live in a condo, and I can't have that kind of weight here on the condo, and I don't want to lease out office space for something like this because it's not just monthly office fee, and you're dealing with security and all sorts of other stuff. So I have a location in Texas, and so some of our heavier items, bigger items, are over there. But with this COVID lockdown and restrictions on travel and all sorts of other stuff, it's hard to just say, okay, I'm going to go take a 5 hour flight to Texas, this month, and then it's not convenient right now. So we got machines over there that are sitting, and it's hard to learn how to work with those machines when they're so far away. But with that said, we still printers like these. Um, we do have other printers to be released later this year, so we should be getting some also. So we're not sitting still in terms of the factory. We're trying to move forward and increase our ability for manufacturing. So that also means that we're looking into other things. Like, okay, it's no secret we are interested in doing action figures. Who isn't interested in doing action figures? But one thing I do want to do is an alien thing. So at Joe Fest and JoeCon, we've showed off some prototype alien action figures. Of course, they were just statues, but but that's something that I'm going towards. So with that said, we're trying to develop a relationship with factories out there that are capable of doing the action figures, and hopefully capable of doing something more than just simply action figures. And so we're looking into ways, to expand our manufacturing, even if it means a third party to do things. And so when it comes to the figures itself, so if you have alien action figures, well, you need alien weapons, alien gear, a lot of small parts. So so there may be some interesting opportunities to dress up other figures, with alien gear. Oh, same here. I'm working on a Marauder boss fight style Avengers team. Lots of colors and pieces. Ah, that's something there. Let me show you. Huh. I'm taking out figures after figure. Maybe I should put some back. Let me show you um, two two concepts. Go back in, back in, get in there. Get in there. Oh, one. Yeah. Okay. Uh, about 2 years ago, I was doing an idea of a boss fight with Marauder geared up stuff. So I was thinking like some sort of alternate universe kind of thing. I did my own little Stargate, like Cobra made a Stargate type device. And what came through the Stargate? Some sort of alternate universe SG-1 type team. So I started to make a series of figures, like this. I kind of stopped here. Other ideas kind of interrupted. But so I have like several of these, something different. And then for one of the Joe Fest, I came across some boss fight figures. I think these are elves or orcs, female orcs maybe. I'm not sure, but I went ahead and just got a bunch of World War II gear from Marauders, and I was thinking, something like this wouldn't be too bad, to make some sort of alternate world. Like you could have. Well, I'm not going to position them, but you can imagine, some sort of rider on a dino. And I need to order another boss fight. I guess tact, if the saddle type set, and kind of put it on this. But you can imagine, some sort of you know other world alien type of environment, some sort of desert terrain or something, and you got technologically advanced humanoids, riding dinos with lasers. So I was thinking something like that. Yeah, Dino Rider theme. Yeah, the factory struggle. Looking forward to see your next project. I want to tell everyone what we're doing, but I can only talk about the obvious. So I find myself holding back a lot. But so the obvious, in case y'all missed it from some years ago, we did some alien prototypes that we showed off at Joe Fest and also at JoeCon. So these are done with resin, and this is not articulated. This was just posed and printed, just to kind of give an idea of what we want to do. And so this so It's no big secret on that one. Everyone knows we're doing aliens, and I'm just looking at the paint job, kind of grayish green. So maybe I can find someone who likes painting, and they can think of other kinds of colors with for an alien. Gray, green, bit of gold. Anyway, I better put this out of my way, because it'll just be my luck when I'm going to do something and it's going to go falling on the floor. You know. So anyway, yeah, Dino Rider themes, yes. Um, if y'all are interested in some good, and this is very heavy, so it's not like a cheap, it's not like a cheap toy from Walmart. This has got some weight. 1/18 scale, dinos that are, they try to be as scientifically accurate as possible. It's the Creative Beasts. I forgot what they're called, but I think it's Creative Beast Studios. I don't have a box with their name in this room, but anyway, look for Creative Beast Studio. I think the guy's name is Dave Silva or something like that. Silva, something like that. They're getting ready to do a Kickstarter sometime for a larger dino, like a Tyrannosaurus Rex kind of dino, and so that should be interesting also to see. But they have several types like this, and so these work well, for doing things with a figure. They have a Raptor one also. It's not quite in 1/18, but it's still a good size for a figure to mount and ride. And of course, the last thing, in terms of creatures, I still have to do things with this Murder Hornet. But you can always do a saddle. It kind of mounts the some sort of giant bug. Land of the Giants or something like that. The old 70s TV show. So, anyways, yeah, pet bug. Ah. So anyway, yeah, leave me alone for a while, and I will go crazy with doing silly things. So okay, well that's it for the update. I don't really have too much else to really say. We covered all the bases on things. Like I said at the very beginning, I am having a little bit of a supply issue. I'm waiting for one particular color of filament to arrive, white. I don't have any white filament, and people have been ordering the white CyberLab stuff, and so I have ready the non white color filaments parts, gray and other colors, already done. So the main delay that I have is just waiting for white filament to ship from Amazon. So if you're waiting for your order and you got some white CyberLab items, that's the reason why there's a delay. And I probably will send out an email to people, let them know that there will be a delay because of that. Okay, folks. Thank you for spending some time with me today. I enjoyed the questions. Please don't forget to click like and subscribe. That really helps in terms of the YouTube algorithms. Um, yeah, so okay, and spread the word, please. Okay, folks, thanks, and I'll catch y'all later. And as time goes forward and we get closer to a Kickstarter, I will be talking more and more about the alien figures and things like that. Okay, have a great day, folks. What happened here? All right, thanks for watching.